Welcome to Bytes of Light with Angel and Seth Rohr.
We provide bite-sized nuggets of wisdom to feed your soul, expand your awareness, and free your mind to help you create a more beautiful today and a brighter tomorrow.
Join us in our magical kitchen as we serve up another high vibe snack for your soul. Welcome to another Bytes of Light podcast. I'm Angel.
I'm Seth.
And today we have Emoke Molnar with us, who is one of our featured authors in our new book, Bytes of Light, Evolving Leadership for the Spiritual Entrepreneur. Yay!
Hey, welcome.
Welcome, and thank you for joining us, Emoke.
Hi, guys. I'm happy to be on it.
Yes, he and I met while I was assisting in a massage class in a course that she took a couple of years ago. And we had some pretty amazing experiences in that class. And we stayed in touch. And Emoke chose to come and work with me on some other modalities. So I was so happy when you said that you would come and write a chapter in our book.
Thank you for the invitation. Sure.
Yeah.
You pushed my button to do it. I wasn't ready.
I did push your buttons, didn't I?
Like always.
Like always.
Not just on massage.
Yeah. Do you want to share just maybe an umbrella, just a little bit about your chapter and what you share? You had a pretty big spiritual awakening during that week, the first week.
Yes. I didn't know I'm ready, but I was ready for a big spiritual awakening, what's called Kundalini Awakening.
Yes.
But I just figured out after when it happened.
Yeah,
So,
you didn't even know what a Kundalini Awakening was until you were experiencing it on the massage table in the class.
I never heard about, I heard about everything else, but not this. I never even know exists somebody can be a spiritual awakening in your life.
Right.
Yeah, that's so from my background, I didn't know anything about the world of like esoterics and these, and witches and things like that. I was raised in this religious, kind of oppressive religious background. And so in my reality, nobody knows about these things and they just happen and you go, what the fuck just happened? And then like you experience like, whoa, what was that? And then somebody goes, oh, let me explain to you what just happened to you. So that was also my experience. So in my reality, that's how it goes for everybody. But I'm sure somebody out there is aware of these things. And when it happens, it's not so startling, I guess, or, they can understand it more. But so I understand that whole, what is going on in my life right now?
Well, you say startling, but Emoke, in that moment, you thought you were going to die. Like it was pretty intense for you, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I'm thinking back now, I don't even know if the people know this before actually happening with you. I was watching myself from a corner to, oh my God, who is that person on the bed? I was having a death experience actually.
Yeah, the death experience was real for you, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always heard about that, but I never thought that's a real thing.
Yeah, and it was exciting for me to witness you go through that and to be able to hold space for you as it happened. And I think for me, the most powerful part of those 2 weeks was seeing how you were when you first walked in to the person that you were when you left, and how big your transformation was in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm not even the same person anymore. It's amazing how much changed. I was afraid first to reading about Kundalini Awakening, what people saying, what they're going through, and that could be years and years. Thanks God, for me, it was one session, actual one day and a night.
Right.
And of course, it's changed my life for sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's a really good thing that you bring up, that some people, it takes forever. It takes sometimes it's years for people to actually crack through, even when they know what they're going through. And it kind of brings me back to that high performance athletes have this special gift that, you know, they've already learned how to kind of master their bodies. You know, when you go into sport in general, you know, the training and the muscle memory that you develop from thousands and thousands of reps, right? And you had that experience. You were an athlete.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
And thinking back, like the last things when I had the Kundalini Awakening, it was just the end, because if I think back to my childhood, basically I start to experiencing things since I was 13.
Right.
Just always push things down, and I didn't even know. So how you say, when I start to play handball and sport, like that's how I hid myself under the energy what I bring it out from me. It was just always amazing, and all my teacher was just like, who are you? Like,
Right.
I was,
you channeled that energy through sport instead of a healing modality. You channeled it through sports.
Yeah, because growing up in communism country, like, wasn't allowed to do this, like wasn't allowed to name who are you. And yeah, you had to hide behind something, but I never know. I know now what I'm hiding, but I didn't know back then why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Right.
And that's a good point. A little background on Emoke. If you want to share, you know, where you grew up and when you came to Canada. To Canada, North America.
So I grew up in Transylvania, what is part of Romania, is the old Hungary part. So my tongue language is Hungarian. And growing up in a communism country, it wasn't allowed to be who you are. Like, they always told you who you have to be. And being a spiritual person, like growing up in a family where basically my mom was a spiritual person, but she never gave it voice for it, because like on her age, it was like no allowed to.
Yeah, you're hiding everything.
Yeah, she had to hide everything, but I figured out later on, when I was like after my teenage age, she can read coffee grounds and she kind of feel things, but she never ever told me that before I actually start to come out to tell her, like, yeah, she saw me, I'm different. But since I'm 13, so I start to read from nowhere cards and coffee mugs, and I was just feeling the energy. So I started to play with it like a kid. I always went to the future tellers, and you know what, all the witches, called witches, what was like very not allowed to know who's doing this. Like, it was very secretly going to town. Everybody know who's doing it, but it was very secret.
It was underground, pretty much, right?
Yes, exactly.
Everybody knows, but nobody talks about it.
That's right.
Yeah. So I was 13 when, you know, we're living in a smaller village, like 8,000 people. So once in a while, some gypsies going around to the town and coming to the gate to sell you something. So one day I'm cleaning the yard, and one gypsy woman come in, and she was like, always they want to sell you something, but in the same time they wanted to future tell you, like, take your money. So she's coming in. I was just like, oh, do you want me to read you a card? They always had a card and a big skirt. And I was alone home, and I was just like, yeah, sure. So I had some change, like some money. So she looked at me, and she looked in my eyes, and inside of me, I knew that, like, I know what she wants because I'm doing this, but she doesn't know. So she looked at me. And she told me, like, oh my God, I cannot read you. So she put away her cards and she ran out from the gate. And I was just like, what happened? And she was like, you have a sign on you. And I was 13. Like, I was just like, what's she saying? Like, I didn't know what's going on. So she ran out. And I went in the mirror and started to see my forehead or everywhere. What she saw, like, what is the sign on me? I didn't say anything. So later on, my mom came home from work, and I was just like, Mom, do I have anything on my forehead? And she was like, no. My dad come home, and I was just like, Dad, you have to tell me, is something on my, like, is something changed? And no, they was just like, no. So I'm like driving crazy them for a week till finally my mom was just like, what happened?
Right.
And I was just like, it was a gypsy woman come in and I wanted her to read me cards. And she ran out and she said, you have a sign on you. And my mom was just get so mad. And she was like, if I will see you once doing this, like, I don't know what happened. And she doesn't want to mention to me like I'm different. She knew that back then, but I was just like, no, it's just they just want your money and stuff. Like she just make it smooth and tell me like you don't have anything. Settle down and just keep going. So then I was just like, okay, but I can't settle down. I was just like, I have something on me. She just doesn't want to tell me. Like I
Right.
knew
You didn't
something
believe your
going on.
mom.
Yeah. So then, like probably a month later, another gypsy woman coming the same way. And she looked in my eyes, like they have very specific, like they have black skin and the brown hair, dark brown, and some of them has very blue eyes. So she looked
Ooh.
in my eyes and she was like, you have a sign on you. And she left. And I was just like, no, everybody lying to me. Like I have to have a sign
Yeah.
on me. Like this is the second gypsy woman. Like what's going on?
Yeah.
So then again, I start to like put my mom in the corner and I was just like, you have to tell me what's going on. Then she was like, you don't have anything. And so she skip script from me like for a few days. And then I was just crying to her, like, tell me what is it? Like you see it, you just don't want to tell me. Then she sit down with me and she was like, you know, you're different. And you feel energy. You do this like you doing this all your life. But are you ready to wear your name? Because if somebody will know what you're doing, they start to call you witch. Are you ready for it?
Right.
And I was just like, like, you know, like I went to do all the readings and stuff, but was I ready? No, I wasn't. I was 13.
Right.
And I was just like, oh, I don't know if I can wear that, you know, like people pointing on you like you're a witch, you're this. And I was just like, okay. So I pushed myself down and I stopped forcing who I am. Like I was just like, yeah, I have energy, I'm different, just keep going doing. And then I start to go to sport more, like to somehow release that energy. So I start to go playing like handball and like skipping days from school and going here and there like to play sport because I had so much energy, like I didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Like crazy. And in the same time in the school, like I always have a cord, like I can't settle down. I'm reading chords in the class, and then it was place when they want to kick me out. And anywhere in the yard where it was a big group of girls, like I was in the middle sitting like a gypsy and reading chords on the school yard.
I love it.
So yeah, so then but it was just fun, you know, but I'm always pointed out things when my classmate was just like, you pointed out things like, what's going on? And I didn't know, like I was just like playing like a teenager, you know, like it wasn't my things. But they always just like, come and read a card. So anytime it was a party, like bring your card. And I went and I did all these things. Then finally I was just like, it's something really going on. And I start to read coffee mugs and people keep coming back to like, this happened and you mentioned it. And I was just like, oh my God. But I still, is communism, you're not allowed to say anything. And I didn't do for money. I was just like for fun.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then here I am in Hungary. I moved to Hungary and lived there like 10 years. And then one day it's just come the time like I'm done here. I have to go somewhere. So it ended up like come to Canada in 2012. And then I was just like staying here for 5 years. And I was just like, I don't know, I'm done here. I have to go somewhere. And then before I did that, I was just like, I have to try to figure it out what's going on. So then I went to that massage course. And then like finally I own it, my energy. And this happened to be a witch.
You're
Let
owning your
it
witch
be.
now.
Yeah, let it be to be a witch if that's how they want to call.
Yeah, it's so funny. all the stigma that society, all the things society thinks about the word witch, when in reality it's always just been women with extra senses, that, you know, the ability to interact with those energies that many people are blind to, and use them to, you know, help people heal and see things that they wouldn't see. But that fear of the unknown had, you know, the really the men, and specifically the men of the Christian churches, so scared that they, you know, they all over the world, you know, here and everywhere else, they, you know, they spread all this misinformation about how witches were evil and they'd cast spells on you to, you know, make bad things happen to you. And it's like, that was never what it is. They were just powerful healers that these men didn't understand and threatened their position of power.
Yeah.
And it's time to get away from that and own that, you know, the word witch was just this label that they put on to try to scare people, but it just means you have power and you know how to use it. And that's a beautiful thing.
And it's just another label, you know, shaman, healer, witch, light worker, like holistic healer. It's all the same. It's all coming from the same source. It's all coming, you know, we're all connecting to the earth and bringing the earth elements and magic forward. Mm-hmm. It's just another word. And so it's fascinating. And I'm hoping that through more education and speaking more about this, that we can, you know, take that word and put new language to it, new descriptions to it, because it's not bad.
Yeah, I think so too. But I think like the people doesn't want to share their powers. Like people who are on power, they of course name everybody else who have almost the same power than them, instead sharing it, like notice it, like, yeah, somebody else knows something too, like I'm not alone, you know, who know everything or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely easier to try to take those people down than share and understand.
Yeah.
But we're seeing that come crashing down in these days, right? I mean, this is something that fortunately you're seeing what we refer to as like the extinction burst. A lot of this toxic patriarchy is having the rug pulled out from underneath it, because they've kept people down for so long with these lies, and people are starting to recognize that they're lies, and they're no longer answering to it, and they're making these men that have been in power answer for the lies. And it's happening on a exponential basis compared to what it has over the last hundreds of years. So it is exciting for everybody to see that. I mean, for everybody that's not in power, I guess.
Yeah.
Exciting for them.
Yeah. Well, and I also think that it's really good to talk about and share that there are those of us gathering, there are those of us that are coming together to share the information to help heal the collective. Mm-hmm. And I think me stepping into that course that weekend, because I was not scheduled to work that weekend.
I remember that.
And at the very last second, it was, hey, we have more people than we thought. Can you come and assist? Well, absolutely, yes, because my son was also in your class.
Yeah.
So, you know, I just think it was divine timing that I was pulled into that class, and I needed to be there for you. That was, you know, you walked through some major things in those 2 weeks. And when we're talking about meeting our obstacles face on and walking through those traumatic spaces, you know, your warrior is so strong. And that comes from the high performance sport, right? And so you have trained that aspect of you so deeply and so strongly that when it came for you to face those fears, you were like, we're going in, man. Like we dove and we went hard and fast. And I think that's a really good thing for people to understand, that if you tiptoe, it takes longer. If you have really strong healers supporting you and you dive and you go in, you do the work and you get out. And it's like within 2 weeks, your whole life had shifted.
Oh my God. Yeah. Like, I don't know. It's like, as soon as you give up to control,
The
and
surrender
you have no
piece.
expectation, is things just happen without you,
That is
Yeah.
with you or without you.
Yeah,
Right.
you just nailed it right there. Giving up
Yeah.
that sense of control, because
Yeah.
it is just another false sense of security.
Security.
Like there is no control, but we fight against the flow of the river. It's like we're going down this river, and instead of going with it and working with it to move around the rocks, we fight and we try to swim upstream, and we just fight it and fight it and fight it. And we're going to go the same direction anyway. We're just going to wear ourselves out, and it's going to be a shit show as opposed
And longer.
to and
Yeah.
longer
Yeah.
versus going with it smooths out the ride. Now it's fun. You get to enjoy what's happening, experience all the things, and it just makes it a whole different experience. So yeah, quit fighting your life with this idea of control.
Yeah.
I wish people understand that, like, if you give in, like anything what happened with you, we can control it anyway. And sooner as you give in, sooner you come out, because like the first is the worst, and then is like you understand it and you just like, okay, just notice it, because sometimes we cannot do anything with it anyway. I cannot go back and fix things,
Right.
but I just can like have a ride, what you say, like just go with the flow, and then you are out, because like every water is like making place for it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But also let's not, I mean, we did kind of brush over it, but what you experienced in those few weeks was a shamanic death. You know, we have this idea of death and life being when this body dies, I've died, and that's the only death that exists, but that's not real. There's this, you know, what you can die many times within this life. When you that part of you dies, the person who you were died in that process. You watched it. Like that's, you know, just so to clear for our
from
listeners,
above the corner, witnessing.
Yeah, you out of bodied witnessed a death and came back.
Yeah.
Like that's a very significant event. So, I mean, I don't want to just brush right over that. That's a lot for anybody to take on, but also just the concept of shamanic deaths. When you have this big opening and you let go of that control, the parts of you that were getting in the way can shed away.
Yeah.
You know, so you can call it whatever you want, right? You're letting go of the parts of you that are stopping you from being who you're supposed to be, or you can call it a death of a piece of you, however you want to word it, but we call it a shamanic death. And it's a significant event, and it shifts your whole world.
Oh, yeah.
and for you, the courage that it took to go in, you know, and you talk about in your chapter that like you didn't even really understand fully what you'd signed up for. You kind of signed up for it and let it go, and then just showed up, not even like you just showed up. And so to me, that is divine timing and being guided, right? When you know in your soul that you're supposed to be somewhere and you don't care about all the lists and everything, you just know in your heart you need to be somewhere. You did that, right? And you showed up.
It's so true.
And then after the class, I can't remember years wise, but we reconnected and did some Reiki work together.
Yeah.
And, you know, we did some massage swaps, and there's not very many people in this world that I allow to put their hands on my body.
Thank you.
Because I am so sensitive, right? It takes a special kind of human for me to allow that space to be held for me. And I think that in itself goes to show the trust and respect I have for you as a healer.
Thank you.
And we did some big work on that table.
Yeah, that was amazing. Like any times when we met, like always something happened.
Right.
But that special massage was like how I wrote in the book is like, I don't know, it's amazing. And sometimes you don't understand, but now thanks for you, I just let it be. I just trust my intuition. Since that what happened on the table, when I actually somebody showed up for you on under the massage.
Yeah.
And that was amazing when you showed me the picture, and that was the person who
and
I
you
saw.
lost it. I'll never
I
forget
lost
that. You lost your shit. It was,
yeah,
I think I almost was crying. I was laughing so hard. That was a pretty unbelievable moment.
Yeah, like, you know, I don't know, like it's things happen with me before too, but knowing you, like I always look up to you because like you doing this work like long time ago,
Yeah.
and then being my teacher, like that was enough to like still you feel like, oh my God, you have to do your best,
You were so nervous
101%.
that first time. Yeah.
Yeah, because like she know everything. And
Yeah.
it took for a while for me to relax in because probably you remember I was just like, Angela, tell me if
Yeah.
I'm not on it or don't doing right or something. And it was just like, relax, relax.
Yeah.
And
You're
then I
doing
was just
fine.
like
Yeah.
doing the best for your teacher because like, and then it's happened like somebody showed up to you. Then I was just like, oh,
Yeah.
and that was like telling to you too. I was just like, am I losing it now? What's going on?
Right.
Like, because like she doing this work and this like anytime when I close my eyes and I was just like that spirit like keep pushing me to tell her. I was just like, what's going on here? Okay, Angela, I don't know what's happening. This is what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
And you
And
just
the one piece that didn't make it into the book or your chapter was when you said they're standing on a bridge, or you're standing on a bridge, and they're telling you to jump. You need to jump. It's time to jump.
yeah,
Do you remember that?
yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here
Was
we are
well,
jumping, Emoke. We jumped.
yeah, I did for sure, for sure.
Yeah, you jumped and grew wings on the way down.
Right.
Yeah,
That's how
but
it
it's
works.
interesting to learn who you are. Like you're different, but somehow this is falling out all the time, like different direction. Like oh, I know more now, and then next day, like nothing. You something like you're going in different direction.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
We just flow and flow and flow. And I'm just so happy and grateful that you, after the massage course, stepped into your power, started a business. You're doing your thing now. And I know how many people you're helping, and helping not only shift the individual people, but that's also shifting the collective. It's really powerful work. And I'm just
Absolutely.
so grateful to have been part of your path. And I'm excited to see what we're going to do moving forward, because there's always exciting things when we get together.
oh yeah, like oh, that's very powerful. Yeah, I cannot even now. I learned it to just follow it. Whatever it's come, if it's not mine, it's not show up. If it's not mine, you show up to tell. But if it's mine, I deal alone with it. So I just start to go with the flow and just tell people if it's really strongly showed up for you. I was just trusting myself, and I'm just like, this is what I see. It doesn't mean anything for me,
Right.
but if it's do something for you, like this is the message for you. Because like sometimes I'm struggling to put in a sentence, like because of my English and because of how to tell people, because it's all the message coming down so simple. Like you see pictures,
Yeah.
like different pictures, and then you have to make a story for it, for a
Right.
person who is on the table to understand where she is, because some people is so closed down or they're struggling with their life, they don't even have or don't even want to imagine anything.
Right.
So when you start to introduce like where you are and is it familiar and things like the pictures what I'm seeing, and try to make a story, and I start to feel where this person is, because it doesn't mean anything for me like seeing a picture underground or
Right.
a stairs case or something like it doesn't mean anything for me, but it's just showing up so strong, and I know I have to tell, but have
Yeah.
to guide that person in it, and taking me back, like I can tell how old she is or he is on the table when this is happening with them, and this is when the people actually getting the connection with the picture,
Right.
and
Yeah.
still doesn't mean anything for me.
Well, there
Like
is a piece that clairvoyance that when you talk about seeing,
yeah,
there are 5-second gifts, and you are touch and you are sight, right? So that clairvoyance comes in where spirit is actually giving you pictures in your channel, and then it's your job to translate the information to the person.
Yeah.
That is a psychic ability.
Well,
Yeah,
like you
so
said,
I am.
they come to you because what their mind is capable of accepting is massage and some energy work type stuff. And the message that the universe has been trying to get to them, that they are not willing, like you said, they're so closed off, and that message, but the universe can guide them to you for healing. And then you're the channel to give them the information that they've been ignoring. Essentially, you're what we call the 2x4.
Yeah.
The universe has been poking them and poking them and poking them, and they say, here, we're going to put you on somebody's table and they're going to tell you this, and it's going to hit you like a ton of bricks, because you can't ignore it when it comes out of a human's mouth. Your logical brain accepts it at that point. Like, so it's a kind of it's absolutely a magical and special gift that you have, and the things you do for people are changing their lives in ways you'll never know most of the time.
I don't. And I don't even advertise myself. Like, all the people who's coming, somebody's sending to me.
Right. It's all referral.
All referral, like people on the table. I was just like, oh my God, I know 2 people who have to see you. And I don't even know what that person feel, what they're thinking, or how they see that, like somebody else have to see me. Like, it's just so interesting.
That's them being open and accessing their intuition to the level that they're willing to in that moment. While they're on your table, you are opening them up physically and spiritually, and their intuition comes in. And that's how it works. For people that are closed off, it sneaks in little ways. And
they draft our energy when they're on the table. That's why we do such huge work when we're together, because we both have learned how to open our channels and hold that space. And when you get 2 people together, or a group, this is why we have gathered so many humans to do this book together with, because the magic that can be created when you have 20 people that can hold their channels open, that's some big magic.
I know.
Right.
And just thinking back, like, come to Canada in 2012, like, I just heard, like, since I did my course, like 2012, basically all the healers gathered in Canada, in British Columbia.
The initiations came, and absolutely.
Because, like, thinking back, I left all my life there, and I was just like, I don't know why I have to come to Canada. Like, that was amazing. And I arrived here, and when I did the course, I was just like, all the little pictures like start to get together. I was just like, okay.
All the seeds started coming up, going, you're on the right path. Follow this. Here's your next cosmic breadcrumb.
I just would love to know if I have to stay here, or I will take this knowledge home and finish home.
There. Well, it's interesting that you say that, because Seth and I are also waiting for the call. Like, we know we're not staying here. We don't know where we're going to end up, but we're kind of in the same, we've got our antennas up going, okay, Spirit, show us our next place we're supposed to land. So I hear you on that we know there's a move coming in our future too, but we don't know where it is to yet.
Because going home, every year for a month, like, I have a lot of people there who I'm amazed how the people opened up for healing. Like, probably I did, I say, 60 massage at home, probably under the 2 months when I went home. Like, I had 6 people coming a day, and I was home for a month. So I did a lot of massage. And I can tell 5 people was like, they closed down, like they never opened, but they get curious and they come back for the second and the third massage. So definitely I planted a seed there. And people were just like, when you come home, like, you will have job here. And it's like making me think, like, I definitely know I have to be here now. maybe to learn more or have more experience with the people who are more open-minded here.
Yeah.
But I don't know if my mission will be ended up here or no. I don't know. But I'm ready for anything else coming.
Yeah.
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 Well, it'll be very interesting to see what happens over the next year for all of
Yeah.
us, because stepping into this container and birthing this book together, and then we're going to be doing book launches. You know, we're coming to BC, we're going to Alberta, we're Salt Lake City, Illinois. Like, we have all these dates already settled.
Mhm.
And, you know, perhaps we come to Kelowna as well. Like, that's, who knows what's going to happen. All I know is this is going to help, and you get to take this medicine back to your homeland as well.
Yeah, I'm so happy for that. Like, honestly, very open, because like my country need healing.
Sure.
You know, like seeing and knowing what I know now, it's, yeah, we need healing and need explanation, because I think the people they're in a little towns, like I'm talking to my town, is misinformed about religion.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So people, like, it's nothing. I'm Catholic, so I have nothing wrong with religion, but people don't understand the word. Like, it's miscommunication,
Right.
Mhm.
because like people, and they are put in a box, and even here people who are in a box,
Yeah.
who don't understand, like, we all believe in a higher power.
Right.
You can call God, you can call Mohammed, you can call whatever you want,
Yeah.
but you know is somebody higher than you. And because I call universe and you call God, we're still talking in the same
Same energy.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah. But because you don't believe, like, through the wall is something still happening, that's because you are so narrow-minded, like not open, and nobody have critical mind anymore. Like, we know is a house have 4 walls, but behind the walls is another life.
Right.
And we all believe that, but just somehow it's mis mis I don't know, miscommunication or misunderstanding what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've always found that interesting, that in these organized religions, they can believe that there's this higher power that created everything through his ability to manipulate matter. But then when you start saying, oh, well, I have some of these abilities, it's like, no, that's impossible. It's like,
Yeah.
how is it possible for one being, but impossible for another being? So yeah, that's a great analogy with the house. And obviously everything that's in the house is true in the house, but there's more outside of that if you'll just open the curtains and look.
Yeah.
Not too afraid to see what's out there.
And even going through healings, no, like sometimes we just always see in one angle our problem, but if you start to step back 2 steps and turn a little bit right, then you see the big pictures, and then you are okay with it. But before, you are just so focused on your own pain and all things, like you don't even see it's out from here. But as soon as you let things happen and go, like, just go alone, you don't even have to do anything, don't have to struggle.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, yeah. And the same with anything else, no?
Well,
Yeah.
and that's one of the ways I like to describe struggle is just our resistance to what is. And without the resistance, there's no struggle, there's no frustration, because what is going to be there whether you're angry about it or not.
It comes back to
Exactly.
surrender, like you said,
Right.
when you were on the table. What was happening, that's what was happening. And you had 2 choices: to fight it or surrender. And you
Yeah.
chose to surrender and go with the flow and allow it to happen. And because you did that, your gifts got to flourish.
Yeah.
Your gifts showed up. And you could step into that space, your true authentic self. And soon after that course, you started healing. Right? So
Yeah.
it literally changed your whole trajectory of your life.
Yes, it actually changed. Like, I lost everything what I had. I lost all my friends.
Yeah.
Who was friend here, and I basically changed my life. Like,
Yeah.
I eat different, I have different clothing, like it's a total world like turnaround.
Yeah, it's like you literally hop into a different timeline, a different dimension, everything shifts. And I think that's one thing that a lot of people are scared about when it comes to transformation, because they get so stuck in the life that they've created, even if it hurts them, even if it doesn't serve them, even if there's toxic people and abusive situations, they choose to stay there because they know it.
Yeah. The unknown is stronger than their discomfort in their current situation.
And then you go through an experience like this, and, you know, I've experienced the same thing. I could not stay there. It hurt. It physically ached me to stay there. So yeah, you literally, it's like the tower moment in the tarot, right? Everything dissolves and you rebuild the story that you want to have in your life.
Yep, it's so true. And as soon as you went through that big pain and you come out and you just wake up, and I was just like, why I did this all my life? Like needed 43 years to actually learn this, like how easy the life is if you don't make trauma for yourself.
Right.
Or just let it go, because the people, I think, is a lot of trauma seeing under my massage. People like want attention, so that's what they're holding on, because if everybody's sorry for you, then you feel good.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, you're the victim. Yeah.
Yeah, but as soon as you let this go, like nobody pay attention to you anymore.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, that's an important piece also, just to back up a little bit there, where what you talked about, where yes, there's a fear and there can be pain associated with moving through and letting go of this life and these things that aren't serving you. And it's totally worth it on the other side. And that's the story over and over again. I've never heard somebody say, yeah, I let go of control and I faced my fear and I had the courage to step through, and there was pain and I had to shed away, friends, things in my life shed away. But once that was all done, what I had created was worth every second, and I'd do it 1,000 times again. Like that. And that's the point I wanted to make
consistent story.
To the listeners, is if you're struggling with that fear and the pain of change, know that you're not the only person that's done that and had that experience. And also know that the other side is so fucking worth it.
Yeah. It's much better.
So worth it. When you get there, just like Emoke said, you'll wonder, why didn't I do this sooner? Because the world changes, your world changes. You shift from that dream of hell where things are happening to you to the dream of heaven that you've created, that is just every day is a blessing and amazing. And it doesn't mean you never have any challenges, but you face those challenges with a different attitude, which in a lighter heart, and it just, everything is, just different in an easy way.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, if I will do it again, I will do when I'm 13.
Right.
To have a better life, like easier life.
Right.
Yeah.
Because honestly, the life is so nice and so easy if you let it be.
Yeah. And be your true authentic self. This is who you are at your core. Right.
Yeah.
So allowing your gifts to come out, allowing yourself to shine, allowing yourself to be in service when you know it's coming right from your heart, that's what we're here for.
Yeah. And own it. Like, really have to learn how to own it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is it? Like, you can call me whatever you want, but it's me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
And I'm happy with it. Yeah.
Exactly.
I love it.
Well, we are so happy that you decided to join us on this adventure. So thank you. I know it was a big step for you, and I appreciate once again, your courage.
Thank you so much.
I love it. I love it. And I'm excited to see what we're going to create moving forward with it.
Yeah, I'm so happy you guys did it. And I hope you guys come one time to Romania and help me to in my little town to have a healing session.
Yes.
And I would love to come to Romania.
Me too. Let's dream into that, shall we?
That needs to happen.
Yeah. Come to Transylvania and do some good work there.
Exactly.
Yeah, I have to. How else am I going to meet Dracula?
Exactly.
Exactly.
On
Too
my list.
late, but
It's too late.
Well, I can go see us home,
You
right?
can go see us.
oh yeah, you can see his home, and the town is just beautiful.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Mm.
Well, much love, girl.
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you so much for
All my
having
love.
me and encouraging me to have this
Yes.
in the book. I'm so happy, and I know it's turnaround somehow.
Yes.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah,
It'll be
always
amazing.
do.
All right. And
Thank you,
to
love.
thank you to
Thank
the
you
listeners
so
for
much.
sticking
Have
in
a
there and
beautiful.
experiencing all of this wonderful magic. And we'll catch you on the next episode.
Thank you. See you guys.
Thank you for sharing your time and energy with us. The best way to help us spread this message is to rate, review, and subscribe.
If this episode impacted you in any way, share it with others. Post about it on social media or put something in the comments.
Also, check out our website for upcoming events and books at www.roarrevolution.com. All our gratitude and love.
All our love.
See you soon.